Yo, what's good, everybody? Here I am. El Capitán Rafucho is here. Rafael Chacin is here for another episode of Face to Face, an interview web series that we talk each episode face to face. We can talk with some of the important characters that are trending in the social media, which is sports content creators, artists, influencers, athletes, and people with good stories. And this right here is going to be very, very special because it's all about the motherfucking Raider Nation right there. Because over the last five episodes, I just had the opportunity to talk with CJ Ruthless from the San Francisco Niners, Mitch Kowski for the Philadelphia Scissors, Flyers, Phillies, and of course the Eagles. Also, East Coast Grand Aaron for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Boys for Life, for the Dallas Cowboys, which I made like a serious question about how the Cowboys are gonna make the playoffs this year, this season, and of course Mike on the Mike Sports, which is NFL Mike, which we had a great conversation about the battle of the quarterbacks at the AFC West between Russell Wilson versus Derek Carr versus Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes. And right now, I'm very excited to have this amazing guest right here. So let's check them out right here. And let's get them with the link right here because I just hope to happen in because this is like a face to face special with a with a Radio Nation right there, and I'm very excited about it. So follow El Capitan Rafucho on each social media and join us the journey. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Capitan Rafucho. I repeat, at Capitan Rafucho. Also on TikTok as at Captain Guaro 93. And of course, you can subscribe me on YouTube as Rafael Chacin. And you can watch all the five episodes that I just made it face to face. The first one with CG Ruthless, also the second one with Wichkowski, third one with East Coast Grand Aaron, and of course the fourth and the fifth episode between Boys for Life and Mike on the Mic. Because if you miss it, the last episode right here, don't worry, you can watch it on YouTube and everything's gonna be all right there. So there's a lot of things that I wanted to do about it because right now it is a great day. Just like say Ice Cube, it's a good day to be a Raider because the whole extension of Hunter Renfro was phenomenal because nobody thought it's gonna be happen right there because after the whole thing with the free agency, the draft madness, and of course they got well the extension not only for Derek Carr but also Hunter Renfro. But there's some two players that can be like an extension, which is Darren Waller or maybe Denzel Perryman for the linebacker. And I was very excited because he just announced it just like at the first thing in the morning. And man, I cannot believe that. I was just like, I cannot believe that happened right here. So, and for me, that was like a great movement, a great, a great day for the Radio Nation right there. And it is it's just like that because he has 21 million guarantee, which is totally amazing. And for now, the reason that I just got right here because I just love that. And for that reason, I think that it's gonna be like I think the whole team right here, the whole division, which is Broncos, Chiefs, or maybe Chargers, they are afraid. They're really afraid about what's going on there. Because right now the Raiders got the whole army, got the whole players that we loved to, and they got the explosive duo of Hunter Renfro. Also, they got Matt Crosby with Chandler Jones, and of course, Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. So, for all those teams right here in the conference right here, he must be like careful, or maybe they're scared because right now the Raiders are getting into the into the field right here. Hey, Birdman, how's it going? So, like I said, I'm just waiting him to be the guest right here because I'm not very sure about that. So, I guess because, well, I'm not able well, to talk much anymore. But right now, it feels so amazing. It feels so great, so amazing to have one of the guests right here. I'll just send the link right here, but I don't know. It just happened right there. All right. All right, so let's see what I got over here. All right. Just hold on a minute. Sorry about it because it's just there's no technical issues right here. I'm fixing out when it comes to well because for right now the show face to face well is just like interesting conversation with talking about hot topics and what's going on with the world of sports, entertainment, and of course stories that made us like a human being. And for right now, I got more subscribers. And for the right now, I got 185 subscribers on YouTube. I'm almost to 200, which is insane. Because well, sometimes I was focusedly on the work, and well, sometimes the work schedule doesn't fit any good right there, and man, it's just getting harder, and well, very exhausted. And for that reason, I just came here to well to change all the people right there. So I came out for the idea to well to have it like an interesting conversation with sports content creators for different teams. And I just figured it out. That was the incredible idea that I got it. And for that reason, I just put, well, all the people right there, and they just loved it. They just loved the interaction that I got it for any reason because I just talked with some of the important content creators. Today I was talking with NFL Mike, which is Mike and the Mike Sports, talking what's going on with the Los Angeles Chargers, and of course the quarterback Justin Herbert, and some news that are trendy right here. And of course we had an interesting conversation between the battle of the quarterbacks, not only for the NFC West but the NFC East, which is the Dallas Cowboys, Eagles, New York Giants, and of course the Washington Commanders, which they change. And I remember that well, that was very interesting to see how those quarterbacks are battling each other to make a showdown. And for that reason, I just pointing out for everybody else. And I just make very sure that not only I just made relevant right here, but I just make some good point right here. Some good point about the versatility, also the ability, and of course the stats. Those stats are for watching. No matter how the rushing yards, passing yards, everything. And for me, that was very important to see how's it going about this battle of the quarterbacks like Jesse Herbert, Derek Carr, also, which is a good one. And which reminds me that, well, it's very important to see how interesting the battle is going to be, like the battle of the quarterbacks. Of course, well, Russell Wilson as well is very good, but yes, well, just because I just heard that, well, the Denver Broncos is going to sell it to, well, to a former president for Walmart, I guess. And and of course, I'm just saying to anybody else, and um, it just and of course it just and something that I was doing for something that I was doing for. Oh, no, that was very good enough for that. But for me, that was very good about it, and for that reason, I just make everything about it. And well, we're gonna wait about the cast right here because, well, I'm just gonna, well, talk for a little bit because, well, my well, sometimes I like several issues right here. But, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you a man without fear because I just love that guy and he gives like a great opinions about what's going on with the Raiders. And of course, this is very special to me because we just love not only the Raiders but also the wrestling and the heavy metal music. And of course, this guy right here, he earned my respect. And of course, we just hit him right. And this guy, he's freaking awesome. And for that reason, I just love that. And that's because we are getting to the black hole, to the dark side, just like Star Wars. Because this is gonna be a silver and black Friday. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the one and the only, the Raider Critique.
What's happening, Raph, man? It's great to be on here. Appreciate you having me on. Real late
Yes,
night for me,
sir.
you know what I'm saying? It doesn't yeah, I don't normally stay up this late, but I figured that I would for you, bro. Hey, I appreciate the awesome
Yes.
introduction. So what do you want to talk about,
Yes.
man? Do you want to talk about everything the Raiders have done with this new regime, or do you want to talk about it as a whole, or do you want to talk about our recent moves?
Right now, we got, well, some interesting rooms right here because I'm going to share the screen right here because we're just talking about the most trending news that we got on the Raiders stuff. So there it is. And they just go, boom, Hunter Renfro. Because Las Vegas Raiders had signed the wide receiver Hunter Renfro to a multi-year contract extension, the club announced it this Friday at morning. He was selected at the Raiders in the fifth round in the 2019 NFL round out of the Clemson as totally 280 receptions for 2,099 yards with average at 11.11. And he's so thrilled he had to reach an agreement with our run to Renfro and looking forward to seeing him on the silver and black 2 years to come. And in 2020, Renfro has finished second with the team with 56 receptions and 656 yards and two touchdowns, while becoming to the sixth player in the club history to record at least 500 receiving yards in each of the first two seasons. And boy, what can I say about it? This extension is going to be incredible. And of course, there's a lot of speculative rumors about another extension with a linebacker, Denzel Perriman, and of course, Darren Waller. So, any thoughts about the extension of the contract of Hunter Renfro, which is very good, and of course, those rumors about the possible extension between the linebacker Denzel Perryman and Darren Waller?
Well, I know Darren Waller is under contract at least this year. Before we hit
Uh-huh.
next year, when we're actually going to have to re-sign him, we saved $20 million with the post June 6th
Mm-hmm.
cap space, which we were able to go ahead and pay Renfro this money. Which, hey, I'm all for it, man. You sit there and look at everything that this regime has done; it's complete night and day compared to everything we're used to seeing. Especially when you've been bleeding silver and black since '91, like I've been. We've watched them just completely fall apart. We sit there and we do all these roster moves, hoping and praying that we're actually going to do something during the season, only to fall flat on our face. And I do believe that it was because we didn't have real good leadership. You know, I think a lot of it really did have to do with leadership. And I'm hoping with this new regime, I'm all for it, man. We just signed Hunter Renfro, which everybody was complaining about. Yeah, that's right. Twitter, you can shut the fuck up now. We re-signed Renfro. Go ahead and go complain about Derek Carr like you always do, and leave leave the actual moves to be made for the football team in the hands of the professionals instead of trying to be
Yes.
you couch riding Madden GMs, you know.
Mm,
But I'm all for this new regime. And you know, there's a lot of trolls out there. They're still hating on us. They're still sleeping on us. Go ahead, fall asleep. You know what I mean? But Rich Eison's on it, man. Rich Eison's calling for us to win the AFC West this year. And I do believe
yes.
that it's going to be another shootout in the AFC Championship game with the Bengals. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we need to redeem what happened last year. And this is a good start, especially, hey, Denzel Perryman. I'm all for it, man. I've been, I want Darius Philon back too. That would be a very nice addition to keep on this football team. But I will take Denzel Perryman, whether he was a Charger or not. He
Mm-hmm.
thrived in this defense,
Exactly.
and and this defense looks 20 times better this year than it looked last year. I do believe at all whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I find it hilarious that I don't see many talking shit on the football team this year. You notice like everything in years past, right, Raphael? They were
Uh-huh.
always shitting on the Raiders. Every move we made, they were shitting on us, shitting on us, shitting on us. They're still trying to shit on us now, but it's few and far between. It might be one story every 2 weeks instead of four stories every 2 weeks, you know? So I think we're finally coming around, you know what I mean? And I think everybody else is
Uh-huh.
finally starting to come around and seeing exactly what this football team's doing too.
Exactly. Exactly. For me, like the opinion right here, there was very because I was just sitting right here while looking about those Las Vegas content creators. I'm providing all this information right here. And I'm just figured it out that, well, those guys are providing some information about what's going on with the Raiders because they know they have the knowledge right here because they had opinion about what's going on with Las Vegas Raiders. And I just love that because the first time that I was doing like, well, well, there's a fun fact. Captain Jack Rackham was the first guest that I was doing like a appearance to talk about Las Vegas Raiders, and then it feels like I'm feeling like I'm part of the family right here. I'm feeling like part of the nation right here because I just learned how the history right here for the Raiders, and of course I'm just feeling like a part of the nation right here, and then those news that are talking about because they still they still got Derek Carr haters right there. But I just wanted to say we will shut the we will shut the fuck up those haters right here who complain at their ball because if you're not because if you complain about you just shut the fuck up if you complain something because we are the radio nation right here because we just talk that shit we just talk straight facts right here we just straight facts will straight facts for anything about
In
it. And
layman's terms, we
mhm,
walk that walk, we talk that talk, and it doesn't matter if we win on the field, we normally win in the parking lot. because that's how
Exactly.
we do it. Now, honestly, I don't really have much hate for any other team out there. I really can't stand the AFC West division teams, but at least I can respect those guys because they play in the AFC West, which happens to be the
Exactly.
hardest division in football, whether are we're not the NFC least. Let's put it that way. I mean, we don't have any scrubs in the AFC West, and everybody in the AFC West has bumped themselves up this year. So signing Renfro to this multi-million-dollar deal,
Hmm.
signing and going and getting Devontae Adams, going and getting Chandler Jones, extending Max Crosby. You know what I'm saying? Extending Derek Carr. This was all needed, especially and able to be able to compete in that hard ass division that we call the AFC West. Because
Hmm.
let's face it, a lot of us Raiders don't want to give the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos any credit. But if you put those teams in other divisions, those teams lead those divisions by the end of the season.
Yep.
We play a completely different type of football over here. We like to throw the bombs down the field and we like to run the ball down your throat. It's a very physical game over here in the AFC West. We're not finesse passing. We're more rough around the edges, drive our shoulder pad into your chin kind of guys. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We want y'all to know that we're there. So you tell me, would you want to go over and play in the NFC West where it's all a bunch of finesse, West Coast style passing, very
Hmm.
mediocre style running, maybe a few runs up the gut? Or are you going to want to face an AFC West team who's going to pound the ball at you at every chance they get and then kill you on the deep pass? Nobody wants
Exactly.
to play the AFC West. You know what I'm saying? And we had to make these moves, Raph. Like
Yes.
we were well overdue for making these moves because we've sat there and watched this team sit on cap and then waste draft capital on dudes like Antonio Brown. And who was that? Who was that dude we got from Dallas?
Oh,
Malik. What was it?
you mean Amari
Malik
Cooper,
Collins?
Malik
No, it was
Collins?
Malik Collins. We paid him a
That was
shit ton
Malik.
of money to come play on the defensive line, and he didn't do a
Oh,
damn thing, man. And I mean, it's been year after year watching this team do this in every offseason, hoping and praying that some of these players will actually work out. This is the first time in an offseason I'm just kicking back with my feet up because I know I don't have anything to worry about because all the right moves have been made.
exactly. Exactly. And of course, I just watched the whole thing right here with the Las Vegas Raiders because after going to like it passing like a bad things about the 2021-2022 season right here because right now under the new regime of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, things are looking good for Las Vegas Raiders because they got the standard contract for Max Crosby, Derek Carr, and of course Hunter Renfro. And we just got Samir White, Neil Farrell Jr., which is the thick frame, and of course the blockbuster deal between Devontae Adams, which is phenomenal. And there's a lot of things that, well, I'll just talk about the blockbuster deal of Devontae Adams because the Green Bay Packers have offered more money, but the Raiders got the right deal because they don't want to see like joining now with Aaron Rodgers right here, but it says no. And Devontae Adams was getting right because he wants to go to the Las Vegas Raiders to share a power intensity with Derek Carr, which is partners, not only with this football college right here, because he became like the perfect combination, the dynamic duo between Carr and Adams, which is powerful. And I just love that. And
Look,
right now,
I'm glad you brought that up because
yes,
yes, he was offered more money to stay in Green Bay, right?
yes.
Did he? I don't know if there was actually any numbers mentioned on how much more they wanted to pay him to stay in Green Bay, but he still elected to leave and then gave very reasonable logical explanations
Uh-huh.
on why.
Yep.
He knew that Aaron Rodgers is pretty much on his way out. He's only got maybe 2 good seasons left in him before the Green Bay Packers go ahead and do the same thing to him that they did to Brett Favre.
Yes.
He'll wind up getting traded somewhere else and having a mediocre season somewhere else. Maybe even possibly taking that team to the playoffs. But as in what he's making as a decision to go over to a quarterback who he knows has got 5 or 6 good years left in him.
Yeah.
He's only been in the league 9 seasons, along with himself, because he came in the same draft class. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you really look at, and then not only that, but you look at the numbers that they put up in Fresno State.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have them right in front of me. I can tell you it's for a lot. And there was a
Wow.
lot of touchdowns made. As a matter of fact, Devontae Adams made Derek Carr look that much better.
Exactly.
Especially being a Fresno State fan myself, I don't watch college ball, but those years I was watching straight up, man. And, I mean,
Mm,
and I wanted Derek Carr. As a matter of fact, I was hoping that we were going to draft Derek Carr and that we were going to pass on Manziel, and we damn sure did it. That was, I didn't think we were going to pass on Manziel. I really did not. But when we pulled Derek Carr in the second round, I was like, I can get behind this. Now, of course, you're talking about, Derek Carr of Fresno State compared to the Derek
mhm.
Carr of now. He's a lot smarter. He's got a
Yeah.
lot more experience up underneath his belt. He knows what to do and what not to do. He knows how to read the defenses. The game is not too fast for him. And now you
Yes.
arm him after you've already got Darren Waller, top 3 tight end in the league by far. Hunter Renfrow, arguably the best slot receiver in the game. And then you get the best wide receiver that this era has ever seen in Devontae Adams. Okay, it's Super Bowl or bust. I mean, obviously we're shelling out the money. It came out on Twitter how much money Mark Davis has shelled out to get all of these free agents and all of these trades that we've gotten, and it's a lot. It reminds me a lot of what the
Yes.
Rams did on how they won the Super Bowl.
Oh.
And I'm just sitting there thinking about that. We are putting out that kind of money, but we did not shell out 80 million for a wide receiver who was like Hunter Renfrow in Cooper Cup. So we are doing
Mm,
things a little bit differently, but if you look at it, we are shelling out money to fill the holes on this team, and we're not just filling them with players, we're filling them with stars.
yeah, exactly about that because I would love to see that anything could happen right now for the Raiders right here because I just love that perfect combination not only with Derek Hart and Devontae Adams, but also for the Arizona Cardinals, Chandler Jones and Matt Crosby. Those guys are incredible pieces right here. If you look at the stats right here over the current season, it's just like mind blowing about it. And well, there's another thing that will I like to address it because I just saw on the social media about the new version of the NFL Madden. They just got the release and all Madden because they just put John Madden at the cover of the NFL Madden right here. Because for me, John Madden is a freaking legend. He's the goat right here because I just remember seeing all these videos right here because John Madden made history and he won the first Super Bowl at the franchise at the Oakland Raiders against Minnesota Vikings. It was 1977.
Right.
And man, I cannot believe that you just put it on the full cover of John Madden because without John Madden, we are nothing because he was just like the teacher, the master about what's going on with the football. And he got the spark, he got the legacy about it. And he holds the highest winning percentage among the NFL head coaches who coach 100 games. And I just love that. And he was inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2006. And he was just like, not only he was player, but also he was coaching, a color commentator, and he was doing so great. And He was named Coach of the Year around 1979, and he was a linebacker coach and the head coach for the decade of the 70s and of course part of the 70s. Because for me, I was watching them how the whole history of the Raiders, and I
Right.
just loved that because Raiders got a lot of history right here about John Madden, Al Davis, and of course Kane Stabler, which is iconic players right here. And I
Yeah,
cannot believe it.
and don't forget the jersey that's sitting behind me, man. Good old Flores. You know what I mean?
Joe
Flores.
Flores, that was
Yeah,
good.
exactly. And you got Flores in there as being the very first Hispanic Latino coach to be hired.
Exactly.
And the Raiders did it, and he won a Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So I mean, Brian Flores, man, which I hope he actually gets a job sometime soon, man. He's gonna get a raw into the daddy is. I think they should give him another shot. I think they should just because there's a lot of knowledge in that guy, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Because there's got to be a lot of his daddy in him, and his daddy was a Raider, and his daddy was a great Raider, and he's still a Raider because he's still around. You know what I mean? He's about one of the only ones we got left from that era. John
Yeah,
Madden was
exactly.
great all on his own, but just like you were saying, he was not only a player, but he was also a Super Bowl winning coach. And who
Hmm.
taught that man? That guy was brought up by the one and only legendary Al Davis, who
Yes,
put
exactly.
his faith in that man. You know what I'm saying? And he taught that man everything he knew, and that's why Madden coached the way he did. Now, he made plenty of money, I'm sure, you know, especially being one of the greatest, if not the greatest color commentator in the game. You
Hmm.
know, he also had his name on the number one football franchise in video games in EA Sports. Which he got a raw deal on, but at least this explains a lot about Madden. When it came to that game, all right, he didn't want that shit to be arcade like. He
Hmm.
didn't want it to be an arcade style game. He wanted it to be football simulation. Now they started off good where they're at now. I will not comment because I do not play Madden anymore because of how shitty EA has done their game. But he deserves to be on the cover. And I'll
Hmm.
say this: and this is what I'm going to end with. EA Sports, you better do that man some justice and make your game good. Don't tarnish that man's legacy. You're going to put him on the cover of your game. Make sure your game is good because your game's been trash since 2010.
Hmm. Yeah, and because of that, because speaking about all these things, because I just learned about how good is well John made it right here. Because at first, because I gotta tell you something. The first time that I came here on the Roller Raiders live stream, it was with Audrey Daniel and of course Captain Jack, and it just make me special right here because I just feel like part of the family, which I said it before, and I cannot believe that well I have these amazing writers, content creators to provide information, analysis, and of course something to debate like because if you look at some great talent, just like graphic writer who makes like thousands of videos. I'm going for the information right here. We got Andy, one of the youngest guys who provides anything about the information about what's going on with Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, that guy
Wasted.
can read defenses and show off offenses and break shit down like you wouldn't believe, man. So if you haven't subscribed to Andy yet, definitely go over to Raiders Football Talk and subscribe
and
to Andy. You know what I mean? And
and he has a great knowledge. He has a great
he has a
knowledge.
great knowledge, man. And he's got great knowledge when it comes to breaking everything down on the field. And it's kind of miraculous, even with with who he is and how young he is. Because of course I'm an old fart, man. I'm like 42 years old, but the way he breaks down tape and how he
Yeah,
does it, it's definitely worth the watch. And if you don't know anything about football, you'll definitely learn at least a little something from there if you're paying attention. That's
yes,
for sure.
exactly.
And
That's for sure.
and
Hmm.
that's another thing about the Raider content creations too.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of us out here. I've been out here since I don't know 2000. Man, 2007, 2008. It was the Jamarcus
Oh,
Russell years when I first started doing my videos because I was
oh, that
so
was the
pissed off at
first
this
year.
team. Yeah,
Mm,
that was when I first came out, and I've seen a lot of a lot of content creators come and go. You know what I mean? But we're all still
mm,
family, man, and we all definitely want to support one another, especially if you feel the same way I feel, man. This ain't nothing about a competition. This is all about putting a brand out there that didn't get any mainstream love back in the day because they never talked about us on mainstream media unless they had something negative to say. That's why guys like Mikey Rader came out and dudes like Samoan blew up the way they did and Sanjeet. These guys got huge pretty much overnight because there wasn't any content creators out there.
exactly.
There wasn't anybody talking about the Raiders. So, why not leave it to the fans? And look at it now. Raiders YouTube is phenomenal, man. You see how big Raiders YouTube really is. You go into the press conferences, there's no less than 1,500 in the live chat.
Exactly.
I mean, and thousands upon thousands watching not only in this country but all over the world, watching the press conferences, watching everything that's going on with this football team.
Yes, exactly. Even though the mainstream media they hate us because we just have the great information right here, because I just feel like part of the nation right here, and I'm repping this silver and black experience
Well,
because
I can tell you
mhm,
what, Raph, they're not going to be talking much smack about us come here, but in the next, I don't know, 6-7 weeks, when we
mhm,
finally start getting out of OTAs and getting into actual training camp and preseason. You know what I mean? And then we start whooping up on all these teams. It's going to happen this year. We're going to see it this year. We're going to go deep into the playoffs. Do I believe that we win a Super Bowl? I can only hope so. But if we don't win it this year, we're going to win it next year. So, I've said in my videos before, if you have not been subscribed to me, you can always go to the Raider Critique on YouTube, and you could go ahead and take a look at some of my videos. You can watch some of my game breakdowns as well. You know what I mean? Got a little bit of everything for anybody who likes to Raider content. But, like I said on my schedule prediction after we all found out what the schedule was going to be,
yes,
I'm thinking that we're going to go roughly 13-4, 14-3. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? Even with the
yes,
strength schedule, and I know we've got one of the hardest schedules in there, but I don't see another team on this schedule that I can honestly say is better than us from front to back. The
wow,
Chiefs are the Chiefs are decent, but they're not as good as what we look like on paper.
yeah,
If we can
exactly,
play to the potential of what we look like on paper, we're going to be having a lot of 40 to 50 yard, 50-point scoring games. And I can
yeah.
see that. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see this being better than the team of 2002, 2003, who went to the Super Bowl that year.
hmm Exactly. And I got my prediction right here, which is, well, it's going to be 14-3, which is very excited because right now it's about it's about that time to, well, to see about the Raiders coming to, well, to shock the entire world and silence all these haters right here who, well, to see, well, those haters, well, to comment about the negative teams, because we are the motherfucking nation right here. We are the Raiders, and we are not scared to everybody else. And of course, I just wanted to say to everybody else, all these Raiders content creators, they just like an amazing family, just like an amazing nation over here. Because first, I was really nervous. I was really nervous about joining up with the Raiders, but I just understand that, well, no matter what happened with the condition, with my special condition that I got, that's what just syndrome, they just treat me like a special person with a special power, a superpower to, well, to make things right. And I love to be a Raider fan right here because I love that. And I just very excited to be part of the nation right here because I just learned about the history and of course John Maiden, Al Davis, and of course all these things that happened with the Raiders over the last 2 years. It became so fantastic. And I'm very proud that all these Raider content creators are providing information that while the media doesn't allow it because we have a nation with all these content creators to make us proud, to make information, to make analysis that everybody else and people watched it. Because instead of watching ESPN, they just watch all the Raiders on YouTube, those content creators who provide good information right here. And I just love that. And some of these persons who just follow me because right now I'm repping all these silver and black experience right here. But I just wanted to say, with a critique, thanks for coming in at the face to face special because it's about late night. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Raider Critique right here on YouTube because he has content about what's going on with Las Vegas Raiders. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Rafael Chacin, El Capitán Rafucho, right here on YouTube. And if you missed that episode right here, you can watch it on YouTube. So, any final thoughts? Because we are about to, well, to get it right. And this about to the, and let's get it with the final thoughts.
Final thoughts. And overall, at the beginning of the season, I'm going to call it right now. There's only one word that we need to understand. Because of everything from the years past, we need to just go ahead and wipe that out. Because the word of the year for the 2022-2023 season is dominate. And we need to stomp every team that comes into our path. We definitely have all the weapons. We have all the tools, and we definitely get the right coaching staff in place to where we're going to dominate the rest of the NFL. I hope every single one of you other teams, fans are ready. And also you other teams, when you go to face the Raiders, it's not going to be the pushovers that you guys are used to dealing with back from years past. We're going to dominate you in every aspect of the game. We're going to dominate you
Yes.
from the front office. We're going to dominate you on the field, offensively, defensively, and special teams. No remorse,
Exactly.
no mercy. Super Bowl or bust. And that's the bottom line. Raider
Custom
Nation for life.
calls. Yes, sir. And that's the bottom line because it's about the domination right here. So I'm Rafael Chassin as El Capitán Rafucho. And right now, this is about wrap this up with a special episode of Face to Face talking about the Raider Nation. And of course, there's one word to describe it. We're gonna dominate it because right now we are the motherfucking nation right here, the Raiders. Believe it or not, we're gonna dominate it.
Just
So
win, baby.
just win, baby. And of course, we'll see you next time. And of course, it's been face to face with a Raider critique and Rafael Chassin. So salute to y'all.